An article has appeared in the Arab News of Saudi Arabia. It is written by Mrs. Hasina Wajid, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh. And she writes, March 26 is the great Independence and National Day. On this auspicious occasion, I extend my sincere greetings and congratulations to all the Bangladeshi citizens living in the country and abroad. I remember the greatest Bengali of all times, father of the nation, Banga Bandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, under whose firm and far-sighted leadership we got an independent state. I remember the four national leaders who steered the liberation war with their able guidance. The debt of the blood of 3 million martyrs of liberation war and self-sacrifice of 200,000 mothers and sisters will never be repaid. I pay my deep respect to all the fearless freedom fighters, including the war wounded. I am grateful to all friendly countries, organizations, institutions, and individuals for the generous support during the War of Liberation. Although we officially made our debut as an independent nation on 26th of March 1971, the young student leader Sheikh Mujib had dreamed of establishing a sovereign state in this land since the creation of Pakistan in 1947. He contributed significantly in the language movement of 1952, victory of the United Front elections of 1954, the anti-Ayub Khan movement of 1962, 6 points of 1966, and mass upsurge of 1969. On December the 6th, 1969, Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujib declared, "From today, the name of this eastern country of Pakistan will be Bangladesh only instead of East Pakistan." The Awami League, led by Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujib, won a single majority in the National Assembly in 1970 elections. However, the Pak military junta started procrastinating without transferring power. Sheikh Mujib called for a non-cooperation movement and in his historic speech on March 7 gave a clear outline of the goal of liberation. At midnight on March 25, the Pakistani troops started killing unarmed Bengalis in the name of Operation Searchlight. Banga Bandhu made the official declaration of independence before being arrested in the early hours of March 26. On April the 17th, the Mujibnagar Provisional Government swore in Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman as president. After a long 9-month armed struggle, independent sovereign Bangladesh was liberated on December the 16th. The father of the Bengali nation, President Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, devoted himself to rebuild the war-torn country. He approved a constitution within the 9 months of independence. Bangladesh gained recognition from 116 countries and membership in 27 international organizations through his diplomatic efforts. But our misfortune is that the defeated anti-independence clique of 1971 continued to conspire against him. At this point, she further goes on that incumbent President Banga Bandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was martyred along with his family members on August 15, 1975 by the brutal bullet of the assassin. Bangladesh Awami League, coming to power in 1996, took on the mission for a paradigm shift by bringing positive changes in all sectors. Our government's 1996 to 2001 term was a journey towards brighter future, breaking the vicious circle of backwardness, underdevelopment, and poverty. Bangladesh Awami League has been running the government since 2008 with people's unwavering support in all the national elections. We transformed Bangladesh into a developing country by implementing Vision 2021, created Digital Bangladesh, and brought 100% of the people under electricity cover. We opened the door to the blue economy by establishing sovereignty over the vast area of the sea. Implementing the land boundary agreement with India, we ended the long-standing misery of the enclaves. Soon we will inaugurate the Padma Bridge under construction with our own funds, mega projects such as Metro Rail, the Matarbari Power Plant, the Rupur Nuclear Power Plant Station, the Karnafuli Tunnel, the Sonadia Deep Sea Port, and also the elevated expressway are also progressing fast. We launched the Bangabandhu 1 satellite in space. In response to the coronavirus pandemic, we gave an incentive of $22 billion to keep the economy afloat. Most people in the country have been vaccinated against COVID-19. Despite the pandemic situation, we have achieved economic growth of 6.94%. In Mujib year, we provided 117,329 landless and homeless people with semi-permanent houses and another 54,551 homes under the construction for transfer. Our current per capita income is $2,591. We formulated the second perspective program plan, Vision 2041, and have started implementing it under the 8th 5-year plan. We are implementing Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100. I firmly believe that Bangladesh will soon emerge as a developed and prosperous state on the world map if we continue the pace of development that we have created in the country. We established the rule of law in the country by enforcing the verdict of trial for killing the father of the nation and war criminals against humanity. We published 4 volumes of Record of Proceedings, Agartala conspiracy case filed by the Pakistani rulers against Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib. 11 out of the 14 of the secret documents of intelligence branch of father of nation Bangabandhu's Mujibur Rahman 1948 to 71, including the unfinished memoirs, prison diaries, and the New China 1952. I believe that by reading these books, the new generation will be able to have a broader understanding of the firm footprints of the father of the nation in the history of independence. We are fortunate to have simultaneously celebrated the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Mujib Barsha, and the Golden Jubilee of the Independence on 2021 through colorful programs. On this auspicious occasion of Independence Day and National Day, I call upon all Bangladeshis to let us not divide ourselves, but to nurture the spirit and ideals of the great liberation war and participate in building the hunger, poverty-free, self-confident and self-respecting golden Bangladesh of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's dream. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu, may Bangladesh live forever. Sheikh Hasina, Prime Minister, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Now, with this I finish this article which has appeared in the Arab News. The Arab News of Saudi Arabia used to be one of the most pro-Pakistan newspapers in the past, although lately its policy is somewhat different. There are a few things which need to be described. For example, if we go according to what Hasina Wajid has stated, what it basically means is that the suspicion of Yahya Khan that he is, as regarding the Agartala case and everything which is said, that he is a successionist, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, seems to be correct if this is what the real history is. Uh, and Regarding the issue of the this letter, there are a few things which are obviously not correct. For example, the casualty figures of the so-called War of Independence of Bangladesh are grossly exaggerated, so are the rape figures, and these have been the subject of independent investigations and walks. For example, Miss Bose's book is very prominent in this aspect. Second thing is that she has completely missed one of the challenges which is occurring, which is facing the Bengali community, and that is the persecution of ethnic Bengalis in nearby provinces of India, where basically not thousands but tens of millions of Bengalis are being rendered practically stateless. And this has been one of the thorns in the India Bangladesh relationship, and it was rumored in one of the newspapers that Sheikh Hasina had refused to meet the Indian ambassador to Bangladesh for this type of reasoning. Regarding the some of the very old gentlemen in very advanced age who was in favor of a united Pakistan, and who have been, obviously, many of them have been hanged, and somehow there was a very muted response from international community or even from Pakistani foreign ministry when these pro-Pakistan elements were hanged, which is obviously not a very good thing. Besides, there is considerable evidence that Bangladesh is getting more closer to China than to India, but obviously it will not be mentioned here. There are a few points in history which need to be corrected. First of all is that the 1940 resolution by which the Pakistan was created, but the original resolution basically sought some Muslim majority, autonomous, semi-autonomous, or autonomous types of states rather, which is stated there. And the choice of the Bengali politicians to join Pakistan as a unified state was their choice. It was not forced upon them. And in fact, it was said that at one point, Sohrawardi, who had close relationship with Gandhi, was of the view that both the Bengals should be united and would not be economically feasible, and contacted Jinnah whether he can take up the idea with Gandhi. Jinnah seemed to give a tacit type of approval, or at least alleged to have given tacit approval. And he went to Gandhi, and Gandhi said, well, if I do like that, and there is a unified Punjab and there is a unified Bengal, where would I make the state of India then? So that was rejected. Then again, as mentioned in this about the language movement, one of the issues was that during Liaquat Ali Khan's era, when some of the language riot took place in East Pakistan, it is said on good authority that Liaquat Ali Khan, the Pakistani Prime Minister, he called the Bengali politicians and asked them straight away that are they in favor of some kind of independence type of arrangement? Is that what they want? And they said, no, that's not what our intentions is. So the union of Pakistan with Bangladesh was voluntary from the point of Bengalis. Obviously, Yahya Khan, sensing the separatist tendencies in Bangladesh, had many other options also, like the constitutional confederation, or handing over power to the Bengali officers of the Pakistan army, who in fact did occupy that later, and so on. There were many other options rather than the violence and so on, which was not really easy. Regarding the recognition of Bangladesh during the life of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, there is a slight inaccuracy in this. As a matter of fact, Sheikh Mujib had to travel to Lahore in 1974 at the Islamic Summit Conference, and at that point, when Pakistan recognized Bangladesh, then the larger mass of the Islamic world also recognized Bangladesh. And there are obviously pictures. And after the creation of Bangladesh, interestingly, the military dictators of Pakistan, like Ziaul Haq, seem to have good relations with Hussain Muhammad Shah, the military dictator of Bangladesh, and I think they also played golf or something like that. And then, obviously, there was a good cooperation between the Pakistan and Bangladesh while during the tenure of the wife of General who later took over the reins of the Bangladesh as Prime Minister and is now ailing and is facing corruption charges. I'm referring to General Mrs. Ziaur Rahman. And at present also, the relationships between Pakistan and Bangladesh are not very bad. Obviously, the event of 1971 was very badly handled by the Pakistani military junta, and it was basically the anti-Pakistan feelings, anti-West Pakistan feeling, but there in East Pakistan, but they were not so much intense before the army action took place on March the 25, 1971. There is also one other inaccuracy in the article. The 7th of March declaration in Paltan Maidan, Dhaka by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was somewhat short of declaration of independence. So this is not actually correct in the article that he declared independence, although that was expected, but he did not. And with that, we obviously wish very good to people of Bangladesh, because one of the problems that the existent Pakistan is that one of the reasons the existent Pakistan is, it was one of the Bengali peoples who were very active in the pro-Pakistan movement, and the Pakistanis have to be thankful to the Muslims of what is present-day India and to the Bengali people for creating the country of Pakistan, although unfortunately it could not remain united because democracy was trampled upon, and the principle of alternate prime ministers from East and West Pakistan was also trampled into the military regime. And things were going quite well, as a matter of fact, before 1957 issues, because it was a common way that every second prime minister would be from East Pakistan, and then the East Pakistanis had complete freedom in their own provincial governments, and they also participated in the federal unified Pakistan federal cabinet as well on equal footing. And that whole thing was basically disturbed. With that, I end that, and I just wanted to bring to the notice the viewpoint of Mrs. Hasina Wajid. However, there is one interesting thing in it, that they have published the intelligence reports about Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, and they have also published the Agartala thing, and they are also saying that there is some book in which there is a memoirs of the prison of Sheikh Mujib. Now, that is somewhat interesting. Somebody whom I knew was a jail superintendent in one of the jails where Sheikh Mujib was kept. And he used to say that he did not have any idea of what was going on about the war of liberation in East Pakistan or something during the 9 months he was in Pakistani prison before Pakistan released it so that he can take on the Bangladesh, because one of the consideration was that Pakistan did not want that Indians should annex Bangladesh, so they made sure that Sheikh Mujib was returned unharmed to India. So if Pakistan could not retain Bangladesh as a province, India should not be able to annex in Bengal. So Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was released. And while in incarceration, when the war started, there were sometimes certain bums and things like that and noises. And Sheikh Mujib used to ask, what are these noises? And the jail people were obviously told not to reply to that. I wish I could give more information about during his jail terms, because the jail superintendent was one known to us and who later became an IG jails in Punjab. Thank you very much, and thank you for your patience.